Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. Today let's learn how to read a pattern. We're going to be using this pattern today. It's made by Simplicity. This is a commercial pattern that you would buy in like a fabric store. First off, we have obviously Simplicity. This is the company that prints and designs this pattern. You have the pattern number 9273. It also has an S in front of it, symbolizing that that is a Simplicity pattern. Then you have your sizes. It will give you the size for the United States, a size for Euro, and a size for French. You also have the little A over here. This is just the category in which these sizes are. So this particular pattern here has sizes extra, extra small, all the way up to extra, extra large. Then on the front of the pattern, you'll see you have several different views, and they are each represented with a letter. So you have view A, view B, and view C. Each one is slightly different. In this pattern, the difference is the sleeves are different. So if we turn the pattern over on the back, first off on the back flap, this one actually has your body measurements. Now, when you go to buy a pattern for the right size, you want to make sure that you go off your actual measurements and not just a normal size of clothing that you would buy in the store. Pattern sizing is a lot different than store-bought clothing. So you need to make sure you actually go by your measurements for your bust and your waist and your hip would be the three major ones. And then it will tell you that like an extra, extra small is a size 4, an extra small is a 6 to 8, smalls 10 to 12, and so forth. Okay, then when you get to the actual back of your pattern, here it will show you the drawn versions of what the back of the garment look like. It will tell you what it is. This is a Mrs. knit top with a scoop neck and sleeve variations. It will give you recommended fabrics. For this, it's sized for stretch knits only. So anytime you have a pattern that's for stretch knits only, you want to make sure that you use the appropriate type of fabric. If you tried to make this out of a woven fabric like a cotton, you could not get it on. It has to be able to stretch to get it on. It will also tell you what notions you need. For this one, all you need is thread. So if your fabric or your pattern needed buttons or bias tape or elastic or anything like that, that would be listed under the notions. Again, you have your sizes here. Then it will tell you how much fabric you need for whatever size you're making and for whatever view you're making. So for the first one here, it says A top. So A top would be the one that has like the 3/4 length sleeves. Underneath it, it tells you what width of fabric. Now, normally stretch knit fabrics will always be 60 inches wide. So it'd be very rare on a pattern that calls for knit fabrics to see like a 45-inch wide fabric. Usually they will always have 60. You'll also notice that they have two little asterisks by it. If you go down here to the very bottom, it will tell you 1 asterisk is with nap, or without nap, sorry, 2 asterisks is with nap, and then 3 asterisks is with or without nap. So a 2 asterisk means this is with nap. A nap basically means that the fabric has direction to it. So because this is a stretch fabric pattern, it's going to have a direction. One side or one direction of the fabric will stretch more than the other. Some other fabrics would be that have a nap would be like velvet. If you have a velvet fabric, it actually looks darker one direction than the other. So anytime you have fabric that's with a nap, it always requires a little bit more fabric than something without the nap. So then from here, you're just going to read your pattern like kind of like a graph. You go straight across, and let's say we're going to make the medium. Okay, so medium is here. You go down there. You will need 1 1/8 yards of fabric to make view A in the size medium. Now this one's fairly simple because each of them, they pretty much take the same amount of fabric no matter what you make. Underneath, you're going to have your finished garment measurements. So for A, B, or C, on the bust, if you're a size medium, your finished garment measurement will be a 39. So if you look back up here at the sizes, a medium is 36 to 38 inch bust. Well, your finished measurement is a 39. So this is going to be a pretty form-fitting top. You're only going to have about 1 inch to 2 inches of ease, or the amount of space between your fabric and your body. So this is not going to be a loose-fitting top. If you wanted it to be very loose-fitting, you'd have to make a larger size. Then you also have the measurement around the hip area and the finished length of your garment from the base of the neck. This would be important in case you wanted to shorten or lengthen the top. The bottom of the pattern, it basically just repeats everything in French. Now, on a knit pattern, it's nice because normally they will have this on the side. It's a Piconic Rule, and it will show you how much stretch your fabric has to have in order to make this top correctly. So for this pattern, it tells you take 4 inches of knit fabric, which is from here to here, and that 4 inches, when you stretch it, has to at least stretch to here. As long as that stretches here, you are fine. If your fabric does not stretch from here to here, then you're going to have a serious problem putting your fabric or putting your garment over your head. You might end up having to put buttons or a zipper or something like that in it. So that's how you read the outside of the pattern. So now when you purchase it and you go to do the inside, you'll have, obviously you'll have your pattern pieces, which we'll cover at a later time, but then you'll also have all your instructions, okay? Your first sheet, when you open it up, your first sheet's going to have your garment again, what it looks like. Then it's going to show you what your pattern pieces look like. They'll all be numbered. This one goes from 1 to 7. And then it will tell you here which pattern pieces do you need for which views, okay? You also have just general directions. You have the information for the pattern company, and then you have what some of the symbols on your pattern pieces mean. It will also tell you what your seam allowance is. Your seam allowance for this is 5/8 of an inch. So it's going to be 5/8 of an inch from your stitching line to the edge of the fabric. It tells you how to lengthen or shorten. And then it also gives you some special cutting and marking notes and some general little helpful hints on sewing as far as how to trim corners and do notches. Then it's going to tell you how to lay out your pattern. Okay, so if you're making top A, you need pieces 1 through 4. So if you are a size extra small through small, then this is how your pattern pieces would be laid out on your fabric. If you're a size medium through extra large, this is how your pattern pieces would be laid out on the fabric. So getting the amount of fabric that the pattern tells you and laying your pattern pieces out this way will ensure that your pattern pieces will fit on your fabric. Now again, if you're going to lengthen your sleeve or lengthen your top or anything like that, that's going to require extra fabric. It's not going to fit if you just buy the same amount. And it will tell you that for each view of the garment, okay? Then when you turn it over, it will start having your sewing directions. And there are pictures that go with pretty much every written direction. And it will start telling you for top A, the first things you need to do. With right sides together and raw edges even, pin front to back at shoulder edges and stitch. Now up here is your color key. It will show you that the darker one is the right side, the solid like the paper color is the wrong side, and so forth. So here you can see if you have the dark side, so it means the right side's facing up, with the wrong side facing up towards you, so the other side would be down. And you would follow your views with your stitching to make this top. And it will go through, sometimes there are multiple pages. If there's a difference, like on this one, there's a difference in B, so it'll tell you how to construct sleeve A, sleeve B, and sleeve C. And you'll finish everything. This one has 22 steps in order to finish your top. Usually at the end then, they also cover the same instructions in a different language. This one's in Spanish at the end. So I hope this helps in how to read a pattern, and we will do more in depth in a different video when we actually lay out and cut out a pattern. So I hope this helps, and happy sewing.